Hey, hello. Whew. All right, as we get started, today's topic, and if I'm new to you, I'm Liana Socha-Soria, and every week for the Healing Mind Center, for this business page's presentations, I do what I do, and I tune into spirit and I ask, what's next? And this week is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. Good morning. And it's this topic of the shamanic journey. And I I can speak so much about it on a personal level because learning this very simple, very, very powerful technique has changed the way I view myself, how I view my life, how I go about doing things. And so a phrase that has come out of my mouth a couple times over the past months as I was speaking to people was that I no longer wish to go through life blind, is what it feels like, is without checking in with spirit, without taking shamanic journeys. Um, I feel like I'm almost in a maze, and that what's forward in my life and what I'm working towards, and even the why of things, why is this happening? Why am I doing this? Is blocked from my vision. Then, if my life was this maze of twists and turns and I can't see a distant point, then I'm not as sure, am I, about why I'm doing what I'm doing as I'm taking this particular turn. It feels like I'm working blind. If you are able to master this technique on any level, and it's simple, anybody can do this. And I do want to emphasize that. If you're interested in it, it's because it's for you. The shamanic journey is something that you're inherently capable of. It's one of your gifts. Again, if you choose, you're going to feel like it draws you, it pulls you. And you'll no longer be working blind. I'm not saying you'll never have surprises. You'll have surprises. Um, but for the most part, the big picture, who are you really? Why are you here? What are you doing? What's the purpose of what you're working on in your life right now? Personal growth and external activities. What are your projects? What are your little projects, big projects? How do they fit into this cohesive whole of who you are and what your purpose is for being on earth at this time? And if you are the kind of person who would like to know the answers to those questions, then the shamanic journey will give you the answers to those questions. And that's a big claim. And it's funny because it's such a simple modality, and I'll explain. But it is simply that. It works as that. And yeah, thank you. Janet says, sounds awesome. It is. Happy Friday, you guys. Thanks for being here with me. I see you here. It helps so much. So thanks for the support. And if you have questions, and you guys that are watching, I feel like you know a lot about this already. There's no such thing as a silly question. Nothing's too small and nothing's too big. If you have a question, go ahead and post it in here now or later if you watch the video later. I'll get back to you. Because somebody else has your same question and we get shy and we don't necessarily want to ask. Go ahead and ask. Somebody has your question. So my intention for today is to basically go through and explain the process. But before that, if you're seeing this and you're like, who are you? What are you doing? I want to explain a little bit. So I'm looking at this from multiple perspectives at once. So as a hypnotherapist, as somebody who uses the trance state with regularity for myself and to help other people, I want you to know that the shamanic journey is one way among many to induce a trance state. And it's not like super, little swirlies for eyes. I'm not in this world anymore. Trance state. These are regular things that happen to you as a normal state every day of your life. So, one of the easiest ways to kind of feel yourself in a day is just to notice when you are waking up in the morning. there's going to be an area that you go through while you are waking up, where you're rising up in consciousness, where you're moving from the sleep state to a normal waking aware state. And in that in between, there's a waking trance state. And some of you get intuitive information at this time. The last dream before you wake up in the morning is the most vivid and the only one you remember, if you're going to remember one. Does that apply to you? Sometimes the opposite time, when you are going to sleep at night, between waking and that sleep state, you're going to pass through what we call the theta state, which is what we're going to induce with the drumming in our shamanic journey. When you naturally pass through that at least 2 times in a day on a normal, just human day, where you're working during the day, you're doing what you're doing, you go to sleep at night, you wake up in the morning, you do it again. Even if that's it, those are 2 times in 24 hours that you're going to pass through the theta state. And it is a dream state. And if you're falling asleep at night, you might find that you'll receive a sudden insight. Or some of you work with angels and guides. That will be the time where you notice your angel, or you might even hear them call your name. They're getting your attention, right? So we're inducing this state on purpose. So that's me looking at it as a hypnotherapist. Now, as a shamanic healer, as a shamanic trainer, I'm going to tell you that this is an ages-old technique to enter the trance state. Very, very popular for how many generations and in many civilizations. This is not just from one place on Earth. This has been a thing from many cultures, for many years. I wish I had it with me. I'm most of the way through a book called When the Women Were Drummers by a woman named Elaine Redmond. And if you have this book by chance, or if you see it somewhere, When the Women Were Drummers, you're going to see a lot of statues from, ancient, Mesopotamia, Crete, old, like before even Greek and Roman civilizations. They thought that it was a woman with a cake, right? There's all these statues everywhere in houses and temples, and then when they're looking at old buildings, and they're like, oh, here's another woman with a cake. And it's funny because these are your 1970s archaeologists, gentlemen, no offense to men, but oh, it's a woman, so it's food. And as you go into it, you realize that the woman is holding a drum. And as the trance inducer for her and for anybody around her who can hear the drum, bum, 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 what does it do to you? All right? A lot of us, we can't help it. That drum gathers our attention and it focuses in a certain way. And if that focus is to induce a trance state, then that woman with the drum then is the symbol, is the focus for this journey that everybody's capable of doing. It sets a certain spiritual ambiance. And collectively then in the room with the woman with the drum, don't we have realization? We're going to be able to feel that part of us that's larger than ourselves. So how do you get there? There's a lot of ways, like I said. Let's talk about that. So let's say I have my drum here. It doesn't always come on the speakers very, very well, but I want you just to kind of imagine setting your intention, deciding that you would like to feel that for a moment, what I'm talking about. Feel that part of you bigger than yourself. That's all. That's a simple intention. You set your intention, and you're looking for a good rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. And for some of you, that's it. You're gone. We'll do a demo in a moment. that rhythm, whether it's drumming or it's in your music, a different instrument, something twangy. Sometimes you can use a stringed instrument for that same purpose. Could you get your faucet to drip water at that boom, 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 drip, 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 drip. Rhythm, that rhythmic, monotonous tone is trance-inducing, and I think it has been as long as we've been in bodies doing this. So already just that little bit kind of I'm acclimated to it, so it kind of gets me going. And that's a receptive state. Why do we use the trance state? Okay. It's a receptive state for you to receive impressions. And so you're going to be at a heightened level in order to receive what's really rather subtle and that you might miss otherwise. So let's say your angel is speaking to you and maybe relaying an important message to you. If you're going through your day-to-day life and you're busy and you're focused on this vibratory level of the here and now and you're awake, you're focused, your mind is focused really powerfully on the physical world in front of you and what needs to be done in that linear fashion, right? I need to do A, B, C, and D. I need to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your left brain, very, very active and prominent and louder than your receptive. I feel some subtle eminence. What is that? It's your angel talking to you. And when you purposefully enter into a trance state, then you're opening up to that larger, it's you, your larger self. You're also capable of expanding your consciousness outside of a real narrow focus. And I almost feel like I'm casting my net, right? I'm taking my consciousness out to encompass a larger area. What's out there? What's around me, really, that I'm not seeing with my senses or hearing, hearing, seeing, feeling, touching in this vibratory level, this physical reality. Yay. You to me, hi. Do you want to be aware of what else is around you that you aren't normally aware of? Okay, if you're curious, then. I'm going to say, I was talking about trance state. I don't want to forget to mention a lighter trance state will do very nicely. So I was talking about theta, that we're looking for that theta state, and that's going to be a waking dream. It has more vivid visuals, as vivid as a dream you might have where you feel like you're really there. You're going to get sensations you're going to feel in your body. There can very often be an emotional component because you are aware once again of your soul family that's around you that you've temporarily forgotten. And then when you see your guide or your angel, your power animal, when you come across these beings and you realize who they are, you recognize them very often. And it's this feeling of, you might cry because, oh my God, you're from home. You're home. I forgot. How could I forget? And it's touching. Or the being themselves. Oh, it's you. How could I forget you? And it's this being that you're with lifetime after lifetime and in between lives. And you love them and you feel their love for you. And oh my God, how could I forget? And there's that emotional component. This can happen in a lighter state. What we're like an alpha state would be a light trance that you might get when you're zoning out, if you're watching TV, if you're driving a very familiar route. Have you ever had a driving home from work familiar route where, let's say it's a 20-minute drive, but all you know is that you're home? How did I get here? I don't even remember. Like, that was sudden. You were in an alpha state. You were in a light trance state. It's very, very common. Don't be alarmed. Oh my God, I'm driving in a trance. Yes, and it's okay because it's lulling, it's rhythmic, repetitive, monotonous. You're on autopilot. That's okay. If something out of the ordinary had happened, you'd have snapped out of it. You're all right. But this is a deeply impressionable state. So here I am as the shamanic hypnotherapist again. If you would like to use this receptive state, the alpha state, where you're relaxed and forget about alpha and theta for a minute. Let's just say, you get a drum, or you're listening to a drumming track, or you're listening to meditation music. I have some trance-inducing meditation music playing, or at least I did. Yeah, we're here. This kind of thing is easily trance-inducing, and it has that beat, that 221 beats per minute, a boom, 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 boom. The meditation music has a little warble. It has brain entrainment. It's a little warm in the music. And this is going to help you. It's another tool on top of everything else that you do. Maybe you want to take a bath or a shower with intention and then go to your meditation. Those of you that have any kind of a yogic or martial arts practice, some kind of physical movement is also very, very helpful to relax your body so that then you can relax your mind and enter that receptive state and go ahead and make intention and ask for what you want. So do you have any questions about that? To me, it's straightforward because it's my everyday life. But I understand that once you get into it, you don't have that beginner's mind so much anymore. And we forget there is probably a lot more that I could do to explain, but I think I'm going to explain with a demonstration. And I can talk and journey at the same time. You might not want to do that. And the first couple times, if you try this, you might need to practice for a couple days or weeks. I promise it's worth it. Remember that you won't be working blind. It helps you to navigate your life from the bigger picture. You're going to see more about who you truly are. Who are you really? What are you doing here? Why? What's next? I love that question. What's next? So imagine you are trance-inducing with a drum or a drum recording. And this is not a hand drum. I use the beater with this kind of drum. It has a suspension on the back. This is a frame drum, and it's not a hand drum. It's a shamanic frame drum. There's a line on Amazon sells them. Remo. I recommend a 16-inch is a nice medium size. This is a 22. A 14 is a little too small, I think. I don't know. It's up to you. And it has this suspension on the back, and it comes with a beater. You can use a hand drum. I have them as well. They won't have this suspension on the back. They might have a little notch for your thumb, and then you'll use your hand. This is harder for me. You see how my hand might get kind of tired and my rhythm might not be exact. It's a little bit different. So what? You can do it. You can even use a little, like rice in a little Tupperware or something. Dry beans. I don't know. Rhythm. It doesn't have to be anything exact. Imagine this for a while. That works. So recording or live, and you go in and you induce your trance state. Okay, why are you doing this? Does anybody have a question, like a life question, something that you want the answer to? Otherwise, I'm going to ask, here, this is an easy one. I'm going to ask a question that's going to be relevant to most of the people who end up seeing this video. So when you're watching live right now, that includes you. Watching the recording later, this includes you. Space and time don't matter with this kind of modality. So I'm going to ask to be shown by Spirit a message that is most relevant and valuable to most of the people who are going to watch this. And then if you have any questions about that, by all means, go ahead and post it on here. So I'm trying not to move too much. I'm going to go ahead and just, it doesn't have to be loud. I'm just looking for the rhythm. I am going to close my eyes. I am going to ground on purpose, and I am going to set up a protective field so that only high high consciousness from my highest good, true true love, unconditional love, high consciousness can come through to me. I'm not inviting just whoever and whatever is around to speak to me. I'm putting parameters on this. High consciousness, unconditional love. Here for my highest good and yours, those are my requirements. Also, I'm going to connect to Mother Earth very deeply. So once my eyes are closed, I'm going to take a nice breath in. I'm going to relax my body on my exhale. And grow my roots down into Mother Earth. This is beyond a connection. This is emerging, her body, my body. Her consciousness, my consciousness. We are merged. We are one. As an earth woman, then I continue. I'm going to set up my natural white light field, my aura, my biomagnetic field, my life force around my body. I'm going to make it brighter. I'm going to make it nice and strong and big and bright and beautiful with my intention. I see it, I feel it. And I'm going to ask my white light field to be a barrier to all that is not in my highest good, unconditional love. And then I'm going to allow these drum beats to be my ride. I'm going to ride the drum beats. So I'm going to allow myself to journey. And at first it's just in my mind. I chose to journey, and the drum beats are pushing me away from this room, from this place, off to another realm. Alright. So I've gone out to what looks like open space to me. I see black space, I see stars. And in this space there is a collective of beings. There's kind of a close-knit group standing very close together of earth beings. And then standing a little ways away from them, there are several star beings. They're not human beings, as they look to me. I'm going to look at the earth beings first. They're all stuck together. They're going to speak as one. The earth contingent, the representatives of earth. There is a being from mythology. I might not say his name right. Quetzalcoatl. He likes being acknowledged. Quetzalcoatl. The Magdalene. Mary Magdalene. What an interesting group. And you are Osiris Ra. What an interesting group. So stuck together, Quetzalcoatl, Mary Magdalene, Osiris Ra. As one, their collective message for humanity at this time is to stay strong, stay steady. You are on the main road. Simply continue forward. You do not need to make large changes at this time. Little changes will present themselves to you. Alright. This beautiful collective is asking you to do something. If you're listening to this and it's possible, enter the meditative state with me if you haven't already. Allow your consciousness to expand outward farther with every drum beat. Now picture a column of light from the crown of your head, past the base of your spine. This column of light moves down to the center of the planet. Align yourself with the planet's heart, the core of Gaia. And your light moves from Earth's center also through the central column of your body, out the crown of your head, to connect to these beings, the higher aspects of the human collective. These are representatives only a few of many of the heights available to humankind. Connect your column of light to these if you wish. Magdalene, Ra, Quetzalcoatl, he has the Christ light. Please notice. And to your own cosmic self, your divine self, the part of you that's connected to Source, to Creator, to all that is. Please allow the upper limits of your white column to touch and merge, please, with this larger collective that is also a part of you. Earth and heaven, heaven and earth, you, the beautiful bridge of light. Please picture with me you touching your light to these three magnificent beings. They lived on the earth as you are now. Now here come the others. There's a magnificent blue being. They are Arcturian in appearance. They are an ascended race. They come with love, the Christ light, light of Source, unconditional love for you and all humanity. We are family. Do not forget. You could be one of these beings. Your soul can have an incarnation as one of these beings, and one of these beings can have an incarnation as an earth human. They join the group. They touch the three others, and now they are a group of four. And this, there's one last being. He looks like a lion and a person at the same time. He comes to add power to our group. His message is pure power, pure light, like the sun in your face. When he joins the group, he adds color to our column of light. He adds brightness and heat. Allow your vitality to rise. Allow your consciousness to rise and sharpen and brighten, and allow every cell in your physical body to receive life force. Good. Your message was simple. Remember, you are right in who you are. You are in the right place. You are doing the right thing. Continue to align with your central light, the earth, and your cosmic collective, to Source, to creation, to Creator, and you will do well. Start to gather up all your consciousness, all of your light. And especially if you feel yourself way out, I want you to imagine pulling all your consciousness and all your energy and all your light into your physical body. Feel your breath. Feel your mind, your sense of self in your body for now. Seal yourself in your own place in the here and now. Right where your physical body is. Seal yourself in. Okay, that was surprisingly cosmic. I wasn't expecting that. This is a little sealing in. Goodness. All right, now I need to come back to the planet. All right, so a couple questions. Very good question here. Thank you, Kim. How do I learn more about setting up a protective field? So I want you to check. You're already on Facebook if you're seeing this. Probably if you're on YouTube, can you find the Healing Mind Center on Facebook or the healingmindcenter.com? I have a website I'm behind, so not everything is on there, but you're going to find the link to events. Eventbrite as well has classes from the Healing Mind Center. So if you find that name, the Healing Mind Center, and then you look and make sure that it's me, you're going to see Liana Sochil Soria. And I'm using my full name so you don't get confused. There's not another one. Okay, that's me. And there are going to be several avenues for you to explore. I go into setting up a protective field when I teach anything. So I teach a channeling course. There's one starting in April. It's only 5 classes, but it's 5 weeks in sequence where I'm going to coach you. And there's a whole class just about setting up your protective field because it's so important to block out nonsense. You know what I mean? And by nonsense, I mean, a spirit or an entity or a consciousness that is neutral to harmful, meaning they're not here for your highest good. Maybe they want to mess with you, or worst case scenario, make you feel bad about yourself and lower your vibration, because that's what they do. So in order not to be messed with, we don't have time for that. We only have time for very high beings who are going to lift us up in consciousness. There's the channeling course. I'm going to coach you through much more briefly, but nevertheless practice setting up a white light field every Sunday morning. I have a weekly offering. That's my community offering. It's free if you want it to be. And it's a low level donation. Otherwise, is the Women's Circle, Voice of the Magdalene. You're going to see that on the Eventbrite lists. I think it's on Facebook, but I have trouble keeping up. It's every week. The shamanic course that's coming up, I have an in-person shamanic practitioner training. It's a certification course. And there's an in-person one starting in Idlewild, California. If you're anywhere near here, you can kind of see us. Some of that, you can see how much snow is dumping all over us today. This is temporary. By March, that should be ground and trees. So there's an in-person once a month session for 10 months. I'm going to definitely go over how to set up your white light field and how to journey in that course, as you can imagine. There's a lot more than that. Many applications to the journey in a training course or a workshop then too. On here I'm going to do every other month a Shamanic Journey Power Animal workshop. Again, this is for beginners, but you could repeat to increase your mastery. And then online, that shamanic training, there's going to be one that starts in May. I'm like, when are we doing this again? That's totally online, which is how we usually do it. What else? What else? I'm sure there's more. I forget. I can't help it. There's a workshop today online, which is at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Again, if you check that Eventbrite link or Facebook events, you're going to see a workshop titled Free Your Voice. And it's a throat chakra workshop. Of course, we're going to set up a white light field before we go and gather information about where any blocks in the throat might be coming from, in order for you to both communicate, hear your guides or other people, how to be a better listener, and how to speak your truth with ease. How do you speak your truth with compassion, with integrity, but with boldness, with ease? How do you speak your truth? A lot of us, especially women, we have blocks here. So this is a workshop today from 1 to 3. We'll set up a white light field before we find what might be blocking. And so this is, again, it's a combination. This is the hypnotherapy shamanic combo, where we're going to look for places where we have a block and then journey to the source. And you can be very surprised sometimes about where these blocks come from. And you then are able to do something about it. And that's powerful. You're able to do something about it. So it can be shadow work. You're going to look at old pain, old discomfort, and with compassion, with forgiveness, with light, you're going to shift that. You're going to heal that. And also disconnect. Like, okay, I learned the lesson. I don't need the block anymore. Now my experience is to move forward and speak my truth with ease. You're getting what you ask for. And if you never ask for it, then you could sit in it forever if you want. So that's another option. I'm I'm continually prompted to offer new things, and to something like the throat chakra workshop. I offer every time there's a fifth Friday. So there's actually another one coming up in April, I think. I'll double check, but a fifth Friday is like, okay, time to work on the throat chakra again. Um, More than anything else, it's worth repeating. You'll find out once you get into this work. Okay, I think we're going to be good. I went over my time. Get a hold of me here if you message me here and you want those websites, or you have a question for yourself. Hey, I'm interested in such and such. What could I do for that? And that's even the classes are there's classes and trainings, but my day-to-day is private one-on-one sessions. So would you like to work with me directly? And I can talk to your guides. I can say who's with you, what healing processes are going to be necessary for you to have, what it is that you're asking for, whether that's clarity, information, healing, joy, playfulness, whatever it is that might be lacking. And there's a way for you to get what you want. So I'm happy to be here with you. It was lovely. Thanks for checking in with me, guys. We'll talk again soon.